a mom with a book, and today I'm doing a June reading wrap-up. I don't think I did one for May because we were busy getting ready for our trip, and I didn't read a whole lot in June, but I thought I'd show you what I did have time to read, and then maybe my next video will be a book haul from some of the books that I picked up. So let's see, the first book that I read was actually a very massive book. It was 705 pages, so it took me quite a while, especially since I was physically reading it and not listening to an audiobook. It is Paradise by Judith McNaught, and it is the first book in her Chicago story, and I definitely want to find more of her series. I really enjoyed her writing style, and I enjoyed the storyline. And even though it was really long, 700 pages is like the size of 2 romance books that I would normally read, so it was really good. I mean, I didn't put it down and feel like, oh, I don't want to pick it back up. I wanted to pick it up when I read it. And this is a story about a socialite, a woman she starts as an 18-year-old. I will go ahead and call her a woman though. She's 18 and she's being raised by her father. Her mother's cheated on him and gone away, although there is a story with that too in it. And he's very, very, very overprotective of his daughter. And he is the owner, operator, whatever, of a major store in Chicago named Bancroft. And it is her family legacy that she has always said she wants to be president of the store one day. But her father is a very old-fashioned man, very set in his ways of men do work, women sit at home and cook and knit and be proper ladies in the rich society that they live in. And she is fighting against her father throughout the whole book. That is the main theme. But there's also the other romance part where she meets a man, I believe he's an oil rig worker, no, iron worker, but he's going to work on an oil rig, and his name is Matthew, and Matthew is from a poor farm family, but he has plans to be a millionaire. He has set definite goals for himself, and he is very driven to complete these goals and to do everything he can. And they have a fling. They have a one-night stand. She just had been pure all of her life, and she'd been good, and she just got tired of it, and she had one night. And of course she gets pregnant. I'm not giving anything away. That's the first part of the book. It's the main theme here going on. And he leaves. Her father does some horrible, despicable things in this book. And I can't really tell you that. You have to kind of read the book and get what he does to understand what her father does to her in this book. It has so much drama in it, but in it also has a lot of focus on the business aspects of it, which sounds like it would be boring, but it's actually not. And then there's the romance theme in it. Definitely, if you haven't checked this out and it sounds good to you, you should pick it up, because I really, really enjoyed it. And then the next book I read was The Woman with the Girl with the Make-Believe Husband by Julia Quinn. And I listened to this on audio, and I will insert the picture here now. Okay, and it was the second book in the, I actually forgot the name of it. I think it's Rakesby. Crud monkeys. It's the second book in a series that I was reading, and it wasn't all that great. I mean, it was cute. I mean, it wasn't all that memorable. Let me tell you the plot before I ruin it. It's about this girl whose brother is in the army, and she writes letters to him and kind of gets into a correspondence with his best friend, who is also in the army with him, and they kind of develop a friendship. And her brother goes missing in action, I guess. They sent her a letter saying that he was supposed to be at this hospital that she was going to. she travels from England to the United States on a boat, and he's nowhere to be found. They have no idea, supposedly have no idea what happened to him. So she says, well, I'm here. I'm going to tend to my brother's friend, because she finds out that he is in the hospital instead of her brother. And in order for them to let her go by his bedside, she has to say that she is his wife and that they got married by proxy on the boat. Now, he has no memory. He has temporary amnesia and has lost his memory. And so this is kind of the story of their developing friendship, they're developing love, the traitorous things that have happened, what happens to her brother, and it was a little silly at times as far as the make-believe husband thing. Oh, I should tell him, no I shouldn't. That, it was a hallmark of historical romance, I will say. But it was still a really good book. I mean, it was a fun audiobook to listen to. So then the next book that I read was propped up underneath me. Oh, and the last two books that I read actually went on the Summer Romance 2018 bingo. So I have two colored in now. So, oh, did it focus? There we go. That's my layout, and those are the two that I've colored in so far. And I'm slacking. Usually I'm reading like tons and tons of romance, but now that I'm doing a challenge with romance, I don't pick up romance. What the heck? I don't know. Okay, but the next book that I picked up was not romance. It was, let me figure out where I need to put myself here, Stalking Jack the Ripper, and it's the first book in this series by Cray. I don't remember the actual series of this, but this is about a girl who is obsessed with, I guess, the human body, the dead human body. Her uncle is a, I guess he performs autopsies on the dead. I don't know what that word is for that. I probably do, but my brain is like, no. So her uncle is in this field, and she is like 16 maybe, and she is totally into it. She performs autopsies. She helps her uncle. Her father absolutely disapproves of it. He hates it. He doesn't want her to. Her mother committed suicide. Her father is very protective of her. I guess that's my theme for the month. He doesn't want her to be there, so she's sneaking out to do this, and there is a lot of technical scenes and kind of a little bit more on the gory side. I mean, I wasn't grossed out, but I know that if you have a weaker stomach, this may not appeal to you, because there was a little bit of detail into the actual autopsies and the killings that were going on in the time. The autopsies that they were performing were the victims of Jack the Ripper, and this book takes the story of Jack the Ripper and gives it an ending, essentially. I won't say what the ending is, because that would just be mean of me. I had a little bit of a hard time because I know the story of Jack the Ripper, and I know that we never found out who it was. I mean, it's still, kind of a guessing game today. Even people are still interested in it. So, but I absolutely really did enjoy the twist on it and the way they played with it and who ended up being it. And there was almost kind of a steampunk feel to it with the gears. There was gears that were left in the body of the victims and near the body. It wasn't grotesque. It wasn't, like they weren't telling how the killer killed his victims while he was doing it. They were just kind of referencing it in the after thing. I am probably ruining this book and making you feel like you don't want to read it, but it is actually a very good, fast-paced, driven, slightly grotesque account of Jack the Ripper from a 16-year-old girl's point of view who's interested in autopsies. Yeah, okay. The next book in that series is about Count Dracula, I believe, and I think I'm going to add that one to my reading list too, because it sounds kind of, I don't know, different. It just sounds like something different. So on to what I'm reading. I'm currently reading books that have walked away from my desk. Wait. I have piles of books all over my desk. You wouldn't believe. I'm still cleaning up after my trip. But the first one I'm reading is Love in the Time of Cholera by Gabriel Garcia Marquez, I think is how you pronounce it. And I'm about 62 pages in, and it's a classic, I believe, maybe a modern classic, something like that. I'm not good with that part of it. And it's about a love affair. And so far, it's kind of weird because the main character is, in the first few chapters, is actually this man, Dr. Juvenile Urbino, and he dies. So then the frame of reference shifts to his wife, and her name is Fermina, I think, something like that. And then it kind of shifts to her past and an old love from that past. And well, that was fun. Tennessee is getting hit by storms, and that was a power outage. We've been having them ever since I got back. If that's Tennessee's way of saying welcome back, I'll just go back to Chicago. So anyway, I was talking about Love in the Time of Cholera, but honestly, I think I said everything that I really could say because I'm only 62 pages in, and it's basically the man's life, how he died, his wife, and the man who loves her and has waited all this time to see her and tell her he loves her. I am enjoying the language. It's very, I swear I hate saying and I do it all the time. I love the language. It's so lyrical. There's so many great descriptions and things, and sometimes I'll stop and go back and reread it. So this is a slow read. You want to enjoy the language of it. It's not really action-packed. I think it's more character, of course. Anyway, I'm enjoying that one. And then the other book that I'm reading, and it's a nonfiction book. It's The Out of Sync Child by Carol Stock Kranowitz. I'm sorry for the lighting. It's like hours later, and it's just the sun is gone and it's not time now, but I wanted to finish this. I only had a few minutes left when it went out. Anyway, back to the book. This is about recognizing and coping with sensory integration dysfunction. I have a daughter who has sensory and vestibular disorders. She has trouble with sight, sounds, things like that. And this book kind of breaks it down. This was actually recommended by a doctor that she went to when we first learned about what she had before she started therapy. And I picked it up then, and I didn't finish it. So I figured now would probably be a good time to pick it up, since it may be time to start some therapy again. It's really interesting. It's got a lot of different types of sensory disorders. There's more than one. So I mean, if you think your child might have one, there are several different things and several different ways that children act. They're completely different, but they're all the same thing. They're all, you know, your child can't process sensory issues like sights, sounds, motion, moving in a car, swinging on a swing. If those things bother your child, you may have a sensory disorder, but of course your doctor can tell you that. It also comes with checklists, and I don't know if you can see this because my phone is being really not cool with focusing. There's checklists in here for you, there's checklists in here for your teacher, there are behavioral lists that tell you what kind of actions that children may do, and so far I'm about 71 pages in it, and I see a lot of things in here that I'm like, oh, okay, and a lot of things that I'm like, you know, not really. So I mean, every child is different, and it's just a really good and informative book, and if you think your child might have it, you might want to check that out. So that is all that I'm currently reading. I'm fixing to start, I need to actually pick out another book for the summer romance bingo. I don't remember if I said it earlier or if it was in the deleted part because, you know, the weather. I normally read quite a bit of romance, and for some reason I do a challenge and it's like, boom, I don't want to do it anymore. My body's like, I don't want to read that. Does anybody else have that issue when you start a challenge or, you know, something like that, and all of a sudden no desire to read that particular genre? Go figure. Anyway, I want to work on my first row of the Summer Romance Bingo, which I think I already showed you guys. And I need a book for sports romance and romance featuring someone in the medical field. So hit me up with your suggestions down below if you have any. I have read the only sports romance book I have that was on my shelf, and it was really good, but I read it quite a while back, so unfortunately I can't count that. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. Feel free to like and subscribe and let me know what you guys are doing or reading down below, and I will be with you soon. Bye.